that reverse carding.
Yes.
He's back, and in his new book, The Governor, former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich is telling his side of the scandal. And he is our guest this morning. Good morning to you, Governor.
Good morning to you. It's my side of the story, and by the way, I was falsely accused. That wasn't me, that was him.
Yeah, you were clapping. You want gas prices to go up.
No,
Listen to the wiretap. You can clearly hear me clapping.
Right.
That's an interesting parallel, because you would also say that you have been erroneously accused of a bunch of bad stuff going on in Illinois.
Well, that's absolutely true. I've been falsely accused. I write in my book that my decision with regard to the United States Senate seat, where I was accused of attempting to sell a Senate seat for financial gain, not only is that flat out a mutilation of the truth, but the truth is that the day before I was arrested, I had directed my chief of staff to work out a political deal that was routine. We wanted to create jobs through public works, expand health care for 50,000 to 300,000 people, and I wanted a written guarantee not to raise taxes from the Illinois House Speaker. In exchange for that, I would appoint his daughter, the Attorney General Lisa Madigan, to the United States Senate, notwithstanding my personal feelings about the issue.
You didn't like her, and you didn't like the speaker, her dad, and the dad would let go of this bill that he was blocking.
Right.
That's all you wanted. But listen to what this says. This is what Patrick Fitzgerald released. He says, this is you talking on a wiretap now, is a blank valuable thing, meaning the Senate seat. You just don't give that away for nothing.
Right. And I know what you all think comes next. Now, here's the great irony, and what you're thinking, it doesn't come next.
What does?
I can't tell you, because that same prosecutor who falsely accused me of things took snippets of conversations from those tapes, went into court, and got a protective order preventing me from talking about what's on those tapes or allowing you, the media, from hearing all those tapes. I've advocated since January that all the tapes should be released. They will show in the proper context. There was no criminal wrongdoing. There was no criminal intent. There were conversations and discussions about ideas.
You didn't want or need money?
Absolutely not that I seek money from me with regard to any kind of a Senate
Well, then
seat.
why did your fellow politicians in the state, the great state of Illinois, overwhelmingly decide to impeach you?
Well, you know how politics is. When a scandal hits like this and you've been mutilated and slaughtered in the press by a prosecutor who had you arrested, and while you're sitting locked up in a cell, he mischaracterizes what he says. Politicians are going to run from that sort of thing and quickly move. And I write in my book there were motivations by the Democrats to make Lisa Madigan still the senator with my successor, Pat Quinn.
Governor, how many politicians in the United States of America do what you did? Where, you know, okay, contribute to my campaign fund, or I'll get money one way or another legally, and I'll do something for you.
Well, here, I will not acknowledge, because it isn't true, that I've ever said, Mr. Y, I would like a campaign contribution in exchange for something else.
How would you characterize what you did?
We had a lot of conversations and discussions about who should be the right decision for the United States Senate, and we explored a whole bunch of ideas. Some were good, some were bad, some were interesting, like Oprah Winfrey, for example. And then I landed on my first choice, which was someone I didn't like, but it was the best I could do for Illinois. 500,000 jobs for people, and a lot of health care for people, and no taxes. When the whole story's out and you hear those full conversations, you will see that that was that process. This story is upside down.
Part of the story over the weekend was that one of your closest advisors, Christopher Kelly, apparently committed suicide, and he was on his way to jail. How do you react to the news that he's now dead and had a very close tie to you?
He was a close friend, and I'm mourning his loss. I feel a deep sense of sadness by his passing and what happened to him. His wife is a wonderful person. He leaves behind 3 little girls. He took his life because he refused to cooperate with federal authorities who wanted him to lie about me. They were
You would have been called to testify against you?
We were going to call him on our behalf. Because if he was going to tell the truth from his point of view was going to be helpful. In my case, would help vindicate.
And here's another quote. This is from you from the wiretap. I'm going to keep this Senate seat option for a real possibility, you know, and therefore I can drive a hard bargain. You hear what I'm saying? And if I don't get what I want, and I'm not just satisfied with it, then I'll just take the Senate seat myself. And you say in the book that you could have named yourself.
Not only could I have, I could have named my wife if I wanted to. Look at what Governor Chris did in Florida. He put his chief of staff in there to hold the seat warm for him so he can run for the United States Senate. I didn't do any of those things. Drive a hard bargain so we can get the most people jobs and health care and no taxes.
Do you want President Obama to come and testify in your case? Do you want Michelle Obama to come and testify in your case?
It's a very real possibility. I think both of them can be helpful witnesses. Neither one of them did anything wrong with regard to me, but they can give context to some of the people that are involved in the story, since we both have mutual relationships.
True or false, the President of the United States wanted Valerie Jarrett to sit in that seat?
I don't know what he personally wanted. It is true that emissaries who purported to to be representing him came to us and urged us to appoint Valerie Jarrett. And again, if I could have gotten jobs in health care and no taxes, Valerie Jarrett would have been the perfect choice. She would have been a great senator.
Governor, why did you write the book? Why are you doing a publicity blitz? Is this to sway a jury?
No, it's not. It's to get the truth out, because when you're an honest person and you've been maligned and falsely accused, and every day I have to read things that link me to these sorts of things that are offensive to me, you have this real need and desire to tell everybody you meet, you didn't do it. I want to get on the highest mountaintop and let you all know it isn't true. This is an upside story, and there is really an epic question here, and that is at the end of my book, I point out what I was doing with the Senate seat and what I did the very day before, directing my chief of staff. The very next morning, they came and arrested me, stopped me from doing that. Someone is lying. It isn't me. And the one who's the accused is asking for all the tapes to be heard. Hear them all. The accuser is the one who won't let that happen.
The anti-Nixon defense.
All right. Former Governor of Illinois, Rod Blagojevich, his new book is called The Governor. Your trial is in June.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thanks for being here today. Still ahead on our show, Senator John McCain and Senator Lindsey Graham.